So it's fall time, and we'll get back to chainsaws here soon. But let's go ahead and let's keep those things that make your daily life reliable. Let's keep the reliable. So without further ado, let's go ahead and let's look at the Dodge truck. We'll get to the tractor here and everything, and yeah, just, you know, keeping stuff alive. Alright, so I know the Dodge uses a little oil, and the coolant, it drips it, but it's super slow. It doesn't use it. So go ahead here and get some of the finest oil off the shelf. I love this stuff. So, truck is 20 years old. God love its soul. 197,000 miles. And it doesn't give up. Why? Because of routine maintenance. Things some people simply fail to do is just pop the hoods and check your fluids. You know, check engine light comes on, what's it telling you? Stuff like that. And the truck, 20 years old, 197,000 miles, just runs great. Runs like it's new. You know, one of those, why buy a new vehicle if what you got is working? Now, newer ones, more fuel efficient, okay. But new ones are running what, $300, $500, $600 a month payments? You know, this truck's costing me gas, maybe once a month oil, and a little antifreeze. And it does everything. Now, recently, the alignment got knocked out of it and everything. I'm probably gonna need to grab more coolant. Alignment got knocked out, so here this weekend, just got to get a couple of new tires. Actually, we'll grab this coolant because it's already pre-mixed. We'll go ahead, do that. I got to grab the funnels and stuff here. So she's getting 2 new front tires because the rear ones are immaculate. We're going to bring the rears to the front. And like in the last 6 months, somehow the alignment got knocked out of it somehow, and then recently it just chewed up the tire real bad on the front and everything. And I figured, you know what, the tire's already getting chewed up, might as well put it through before getting new tires on it. So now one of those routine maintenance things here, clean it off now, and it's just getting eaten out real bad. You can see versus the rest, and there's no use trying to save that tire versus what it should look like, at least a rear one. So get it realigned after getting new tires put on it. So get in here. Should have brought the old tripod. There it is. I've put an alternator on it. I think that's all I've done to it since I've had her. So, see the coolant? Ow, smacked my head. It is low. So I just fill it up. That's about once every 2 months. Engine oil. As you can see, I've neglected it severely. I've done a lot of extra driving, and we're way below the ad, so these are gonna need a quart of oil. Why Dodge engines, especially Magnums, need oil? Plenum gaskets. Very common issue with them. Gasket underneath here goes bad, and it's able to suck the oil in from inside the crankcase or whatever very slowly into the intake, and it burns it. So that's about a quart every anywhere from 500 to 800 miles. It just depends on this truck, and this has been about 700 miles since I've checked, since I did the oil change. So right about 700 miles on it. So Go ahead, we'll get you set up. We'll get some oil tossed in her here. I've had to replace this oil cap way too many times. It's pretty straightforward on keeping your reliable things reliable. It's not difficult. If you haven't done this in a while on your old vehicle, go ahead and do it. As you saw, I probably should have done this weeks ago when I was thinking about it. I figure for the cost of a quart of oil, which these run about $1.99, I'll suck it up. Like I say, it's still cheaper than a vehicle payment. It's not like I'm going through a quart every 3 days or something like that. $10 miles a gallon. Like I say, it's not the most fuel efficient, but current gas price is $3.49 a gallon right now. It's like $100 a month for what little running I do so far. It doubled and everything. I'd hate to imagine if I lived further from my job. I'm 6 miles from it, so 12 miles a day. 12 miles a day, 5 days a week at minimal. But also I take my daughter to school, I go and pay bills and stuff, so it adds up pretty quick when you double stuff on people. I'll cram that into there. What I do is finish doing this little drippy drip, because every ounce counts, every drop counts. Coolant. You can smell it very slightly. I think it's coming around one of the hose clamps or something. I don't know. I hate how Dodge did this and everything to pour it in here, and I could have used a funnel for that, but meh. It's a little easier. It's good if you just dump it all over the ground too. Not really. And I like to overfill this one just because of its use. About right there. That has never hurt me to overfill that, especially on a system that is self-cleaning, self-flushing. So, let's see where the oil's at now. May need to have a skosh more. We're in the safe. Might want a little bit more in there, so I may go grab that last of that 1 quart. Or that might make it until payday. When you oil that black, and yet it's 700 miles ago we changed it. It's in the safe. Probably go see if I can scrounge up another quart or whatever in there. Go from there. Alright, so other routine maintenance items you're definitely going to want to do are spark plug wires, air filter, and stuff like that. And those were all done not too long ago either, so there's no real point in me even replacing them. Alternator, the reason I replaced it is it was acting kind of iffy on the voltage meter. It dropped below 14 sometimes, it'd go above. It was just going back and forth on me, and I could see that it was a used one that was put on it, so the age was unknown. So grabbed that one for like $87 off of eBay, and it has just been doing fantastic. The dipstick being in the way in the AC lines is definitely the biggest thing on that to replace it, get it out under. But other than that, you know, we're good and in the safe. I added a little bit more of what I had laying around. I have to add a little bit more. Yeah, we'll say this. It'll last until payday when I go get a few more quarts of what it needs. Because I don't like adding like super thick oil like what I did to it, so. We'll start her up. Make sure everything's happy. Just like a charm. Other than an idler pulley likes to start making noise at this time of year because it gets cold, so that's on my next to-do list. Like I say, part of that, keeping them happy. So, been a good truck. No dash, typical Dodge. I gotta clean her out. Definitely don't forget your transmission fluid. It's happy, nice and clean. I have a suspicion that this transmission had been rebuilt before I got it. Simply because when I got it, the four-wheel drive wouldn't work because the vacuum hoses were backwards, and that's a common thing to do. People do when they put the transmission back in the transfer case. They hook the lines up and it was backwards. So when you went into 4-high, it would put the transfer case into that, but it would put the front central axle disconnect CAD. It would disconnect that, and then it would vice versa when you put it back into 2-wheel drive, making the front axle live and the transfer case undone. So I just got in, so I bought this, got underneath of it, knowing this ahead of time, swapped them, and the 4-wheel drive works. Alright, so the old wheel horse. Now, one thing I should have done when I got it 2 years ago was put a fuel filter in line. I never did. But actually, I didn't even, the tank it came with was all cracked and busted, and there was no helping it whatsoever. So I ran with a tiny little tank that was prone to running out of fuel, and after I finally got a good tank, I had I think I got everything. I never did. I got a tank for it last year. A guy sold it to me, or at the beginning of the year or something. I have yet to really run it and everything like that. But leaves are going to be falling down here real soon. Ow, darn. I believe that's in the way. So I've had to do, I don't know what I was talking about here. There we go. Let's do that. I'll just clean. So anyways, I've put that on it, but I never put a fuel filter. And I don't even run the pump on this because it's shot and I don't have any hills or anything that I need to run that on. So what I've done, and I know in here is a bunch of crud that's more or less sitting at the bottom of this teardrop loop here. So what I'm going to have to do, I have a shut-off valve in here I've used just for safety. I'm going to go ahead and drain and flush out the hose here. Attempt to, with making all the mess in the world, into an empty gas can here. And then we're going to cut the lines somewhere about here, I would say. And we're going to put a fuel filter. Now, people say, well, why don't you put the fuel shut-off valve up closer to the tank? You know, well, I want to have the entire line if I have to shut it off. I want to make sure that it is all that way. And of course, you know, changing a fuel filter would make a little more sense to do it like that. But I'll drain the tank out and everything and do it that way. So there's a bunch of crud in the tank and stuff like that. A little bit of crud. Hopefully, we'll drain it all out here. Undo these hose clamps that everybody hates, and they are useful. Why? These clamp style to keep constant tension and don't over tighten when it comes to hose. So you don't got to worry too much about over tightening, it digging in and stuff like that. So it not very fast flowing. It's not fast at all. This thing about out of fuel. Definitely not fast. Like, that thing should be pissing fuel, and we're getting the tiniest little amount out at a time. Do these have filters in them? The tank? No. Curious if I'm going to have to blow backwards on it to figure out what's going on there. Because the tractor's never starved for fuel, but it sure as heck is coming out pretty slow. The air hose here and do dumb stuff. It's all part about checking your stuff. You never know. This would have sucked in the middle of the leaves. Finding this out. Probably not recommended to do. We'll put the cap slightly back on so that it can ventilate. Came out the top. Still not much faster. Just gas everywhere now. Oh, it's a little faster. There we go. I hear it. Still not the fastest, though. That's weird. We'll let that drain. And maybe it might just be the shutoff valve as a restriction. I don't know. Take off the shutoff valve end. Oh yeah, shutoff valve is the restriction. Okay, so everything's fine. It's just shutoff valve is my restriction here. That's amazing how much that restricts. I mean, yeah, it's only an 8 horsepower engine, but we went from a trickle to full flow. So, maybe I'll look into that. I know I've got other shutoff valves around here somewhere that I just picked up. Maybe I'll look into that. Alright, so let's go ahead and put the fuel filter where everything's going to catch fire. So, right next to the battery is a good spot. So, any little leftover fuel I got in there, we'll clamp this off. Is there a direction on these? I don't think there is. I guess that's just where it puts together. No, there's no direction. And all it is just a fine little mesh screen inside there. Super, super fine. And that's pretty much just as for gravity fed. So go ahead, put it right next to the starter where everything can catch fire really good. Where did I do with the, there it is. Well, that ain't good. No, that might do a bit of good by the time I toss that in there. I don't know, these hose clamps are a little bit bigger. If not, I got some of those tightening down type ones. Oh yeah. That's definitely not going to do anything. Not a thing. Can I make it smaller? Probably not. Oh yeah, that adds a nice little terrible crush to it. There we go. Big thanks to Levi for selling this to me. Had a stuck intake valve when I got it. Sat outside 5 years. He told me I had a stuck intake valve. So immediately I went to work on it. Never working on a Kohler a day in my life. But I've been inside of a Briggs and other ones and stuff like that. So I took everything apart, got the head off of it, and then put the shroud on for crap. Got it put back together after working the valve loose. That took about 30 to 45 minutes. And she was cleaned out the carburetor. She was up and running. The governor was a little iffy, but I got that fixed on her late last year. Alright, shutoff valve, that is a restriction of sort, but not enough for this. I'll go ahead and put this back on. That really hurts the fingers. My thumb has had a weird itch to it since I woke up today. It just won't go away. I don't know what that means. Anybody know? Leave a message in the comments. Leave a comment down there or something. What does it mean when your thumb's all itchy? Oh yeah, take the pliers off. All right, and I never really open that up full on. I just kind of crack it a little bit enough for this, and it's never start for fuel. So the fuel pump on these is up front here, but that's more for if you're working uphill or, oh, wife's calling. Hold on, guys. Wife got home. She just started her nursing clinicals to be an RN. God bless her soul. And was calling me saying where I'm at. I'm like, I'm in the garage making a video. So, see, get you a wife that checks up on you. Not to see if you're dead or anything, you know, to collect anything. So, all right, fuel filter in line. Fuel's up there. We've got some sketchy fuel here that we can dump on in her, back in her, dirty fuel, whatever. But now we've got a filter in line to capture anything off of that. So I'll go ahead and do that, and may open up. We'll just fire it up and have her ready, because the leaves it's been a wet fall for us, and it has just been absolutely, the leaves have not fallen down yet, but they're going to hit in one giant hit. And 3 years ago today is when the wife and I bought the house and everything, and the leaves hadn't fallen yet, but they were turning yellow, and it was a rainy day and stuff, so it's definitely going to be one of those, another one of those years. It's just going to be nasty. How reliable is this thing? You give it an oil change, and it doesn't use any in 2 years. This thing does not leak it, doesn't use it. If it does use it, I can't tell. This old girl just goes, this old Kohler. All right, put that over there. Go ahead and see if she fires up here real quick. Turn our fuel on. I guess might as well just turn it full on, because it ain't gonna make a difference at this point, seeing how the restricted valve is. And I don't think the needle and seat leaks. It's just something I did, just because I can. Let's see here. Brake. It's got that work. I don't need to worry about that. Choke. Max of speed. Neutral. Kill a wheel horse? I don't think so. Other things that I did a few months back to it includes greasing the steering system, all those. That's pretty much what I did. Oil was fine. I keep the battery charged during the summer when I'm not using it and everything. The transmission, I'll have to get to that another day as I'm running out of time for work here. After this and everything, I'll check on it and do a fluid flush on it again. Tires were good. I'm going to convert to front bearings on these. They're bushings and they're pretty wore out. They come like that from the factory and everything. So, it, like I say, just keep everything routine maintenance and keep the reliable. The old stuff. This was made in 1973, and as you see, it fires up and it runs great. You know, just don't let the old stuff die. Sometimes you might have to go back to the reliable old stuff and everything. Like I said, everything's become computer controlled, and we've seen how there's microchip and transistor, there's semiconductors, there's shortages going on everywhere of things. And this thing, this is a points and condenser setup. It's old school as can be. So I say thanks for watching. Like I said, I need to throw a quick video together for you on these things and whatnot, and give some people reminders on things and everything. Yeah, hey, be sure you do this. There was something I was going to ask you guys, and I can't remember if anybody knows in the comments. It was there, and it was gone. So, I don't know. I just don't know. So, just want to say, like, comment, subscribe. We're going to have more videos on that. We're going to get started on the Super Pro 125 101 AA soon. Say that faster. Hardware's on the way. I got to get everything really gathered up. We're going to keep projects going and stuff and whatnot. And any saws you guys want to see me start for Stardom Sundays, let me know. I'll tell you which ones do and don't run and everything. They all run, but they have bullfrog carbs and stuff. So anything that you know I have or may not know and a request to hear it run, I'll do that. Try to. That one right there, I need to do a carb swap on because we did a rebuild on that one and everything. It never really ran good. So you want to see any of the big boys run, let me know. Stardom Sundays. I'll put those up for you. They'll be short videos. So let's say thanks for watching.